Good morning, everyone. My name is Fahad Ansari from National University of Sciences and Technology in Islamabad, Pakistan. And today I will be presenting the paper Evaluating Readiness for Technology Integration in the Classroom Post-Pandemic. So without further ado, let's get started. So due to the COVID-19 pandemic, various aspects of life, including work and school, have shifted online, and pervasive technologies have existed for quite some time to cater to this shift. And the presence of the COVID-19 pandemic basically forced workplaces and schools to shift to the online paradigm. So in this paper, a group of teachers was surveyed to gauge their attitudes towards online teaching. Traditionally, they have been against online teaching due to the lack of face-to-face contact with the students. But after a year's experience of teaching online, we wanted to gauge how much more willing they are to integrate technology into their lessons. So as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, many students and teachers around the world have been affected, and the digital transformation has taken place from elementary to higher education, and technologies such as ubiquitous learning and blended learning have enabled schools and institutes to shift to online teaching. So in this survey, we basically ask the teachers what benefits they experienced from online teaching, the issues they faced, and what level of technological advancement they would be willing to accept to solve these issues, and how much more inclined they are towards online teaching compared to traditional teaching methods now as opposed to before the pandemic. So many technologies have existed, such as ubiquitous learning, which allows students to learn at any place and time of their choosing, and blended learning that basically combines the aspect of online learning, the content available on demand for students to learn from, with the aspect of contact with the teacher in a physical classroom setting so that any confusion or any questions can be answered. Technologies such as IoT-enabled devices have been trialed in classrooms, and a positive response has been received from students and teachers as well when it comes to achieving learning objectives. And different frameworks have been devised for adopting technology in the classroom on a wider scale, such as effective learning models that utilize the changes in emotions of students to decide what content to deliver and at what rate to each student. So in the survey, the following questions were asked of teachers. Basically, the benefits that teachers experience of online teaching, the issues that teachers feel are more concerning regarding online teaching, and would teachers prefer A, solutions to these problems that are more technologically advanced and may solve the problem better but may be more difficult to understand and implement, or B, solutions that are simpler to understand and implement but may not solve the problem entirely. So this was a pair of options posed to the teachers to decide what they would prefer when it comes to adopting technology to solve the problems of online teaching. And the most important question, of course, was once the pandemic ends, will teachers be more inclined towards continuing online teaching, or would they rather prefer to go back to the physical classroom? So a survey was conducted of teachers of grades 9 to 12 from all over Pakistan, and almost half the teachers teach science and mathematics, and the rest teach a variety of subjects. And two promising statistics from this survey are that 89% of teachers felt that integrating technology into the lessons proved beneficial, while 83% feel more inclined towards technology compared to before the pandemic started. But 67% are less willing to continue with online teaching once the pandemic is over, and more than 50% of the teachers are unequivocally in favor of the traditional classroom. So, the benefits of online teaching to the teachers, the most important of those were the reduced transportation cost and hassle, and the ease in sharing content such as notes, question papers, etc. Teachers felt they could reach students around the world, a wider audience, and quick feedback could be shared on student work. Issues were faced by the teachers, such as little face to face contact with the students. And of course, this contact is important to read the emotions of the students and understand where they're at when it comes to understanding the topic at hand. And the inability to perform practical activities that does involve physical involvement of the students and the teachers together. And of course, the lack of student attentiveness, because you cannot see and control students' attention towards the class, so there was a lack of a student attentiveness. So solutions to a lack of student attentiveness were proposed. Now these were ranked in complexity from our end, but the teachers were not informed of this. They were just given 3 options. From them, automatic in-app time tracking seems to be of a medium complexity, something that is convenient for the teachers to implement without being too complex for them to understand. Unlike the automatic distribution of short questions during the lecture, which would be more involved, and keeping webcams on for entire class seems simple, but teachers feel that it doesn't do enough. Practical activities could be performed at home by the students. That was the simplest solution, less technically complex, but the teachers felt that other solutions such as online simulators had teachers performing the experiments while wearing cameras. Well, they are more technically complex, but they don't achieve the purpose of the students actually doing the things themselves. So during online teaching, simple activities at home can pique a student's interest. As far as feedback is concerned, teachers prefer having a feature for assignment collection and feedback within the video calling app that they use for conducting online classes. They prefer an all-in-one integrated solution as opposed to other simpler, more existing solutions such as groups on messaging apps like WhatsApp or open source tools like Google Drive for this kind of purpose. So in conclusion, the teachers are more willing to adopt complex solutions to their problems in online teaching, and they are more in favor of online teaching than they were before the pandemic. But because of a lack of physical presence of the teacher in front of the students, there's a big impact on learning and relationship building, and it cannot be matched by pervasive technology for now, or so the teachers think. In future work, we could work on the physical aspect and how it can be replicated in online teaching platforms, such as by implementing virtual reality systems where students could be immersed in a virtual classroom where they can communicate with their own peers and the teacher as if they were in a proper classroom. And in the short term, emphasis is needed on implementing flipped classrooms and blended learning. These technologies, these methods of learning already exist, but they can be adopted on a wider scale to combine the benefits of online teaching, which is learning at your own convenience, at your own pace, with content on demand, with the benefits of physical classroom learning, such as being in contact with a teacher to ask questions and clear any doubts. So thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.